7 Coronation Street spoilers. The 13th to the 17th of November 2023. Will Bernie go to prison as Amy also faces arrest? 1. Paul pleads Bernie's case. Paul and husband Billy Mayhew are all loved up after a passionate night together, but the mood sours when Bernie breaks the news to Paul and Gemma Winter Brown that she's up in court for handling stolen goods. On solicitor Joel Deering's advice, Bernie pleads guilty. Paul, Gemma and Billy reel in shock as the judge states that given Bernie's record, they have no other option but to impose a custodial sentence. Paul is devastated, and begs the judge to reconsider, telling her about his motor neurone disease diagnosis and how he needs his mum. Will this make a difference to Bernie's fate? As the week continues, Paul and Billy see the speech therapist, where they tell them they would like to use Paul's real voice to recreate his replacement voice. But as Paul faces up to his condition, will he still have his mum by his side? 2. Amy is arrested in anti-spiking protest. Amy bumps into Kate in the cafe and recognizes her from the drop-in session. Amy invites her home for a chat, and assures Kate she wants to help her. The next day, Amy makes placards for an anti-spiking march, but Dad Steve McDonald confides in Summer Spellman how he's worried about Amy, and wishes she would put the same focus into her degree. Amy, Summer, Evelyn and Cassie Plummer set off, but Mason and his pals make disparaging remarks. Amy gets angry, and goes to hit Mason with her placard, but a police officer orders her to put it down. To Summer's horror, Amy argues with the officer, then picks up a can of paint and sprays it all over the officer's car. Amy is soon arrested for criminal damage, but in the aftermath, Amy lies to Steve and Tracy that the march went well and she's heading off to hand in an essay. Amy promises Asha that she's learned her lesson and will look for other ways to be heard. But when Amy spots Dylan being bullied by Mason, she urges him not to be a victim, and ditches her plans for an early night. In a nightclub, Amy watches as a man spikes a woman's drink, and she charges over and knocks the drink from the woman's hand before leading her to the ladies. Amy explains that she was raped by a man like Dan, and she wants to protect other women from the same fate. The woman thanks her, and Amy approaches Dan, flirting with him. But what is she really up to? 3. Audrey makes a big decision. David Platt and Max Turner are taken aback when Audrey insists it's time she return to work. But Audrey later tells David and Maria Connor that she's selling the barbers so she can afford to buy back her house, and she'll be coming back to work at the salon so one of them will have to go. David and Maria try to talk Audrey round, worried about her health and, of course, their jobs. Audrey orders the pair away and locks the salon door, but the following day, David and Maria begin new roles as joint salon managers. But as they bicker over Vin Diesel the Weasel, Audrey tells them to pack it in or she'll have to choose one of them to be in charge. Can David and Maria stop the squabbling? And is Audrey coping as well as she makes out after the death of killer son Stephen Reed? 4. Dylan forced into illegal action. Dylan feels guilty when dad Sean Tully gives him some designer trainers and reveals he sold some of his own gear to pay for them. Under pressure from Mason, Dylan sells vape pens to the other school kids. When Hope Dobbs tries to buy one, Liam Connor points out she's only 12. Mason orders Dylan to sell it to her anyway, but Dylan is confronted by an angry Sean, who reveals he's heard about what Dylan has been up to from Hope. Sean has found the stash of vapes and disposed of them, and Tyrone Dobbs and Cassie call round, as Sean joins them in demanding Dylan tell them who forced him to sell vapes. Sean suggests it's Mason and threatens to call the police, so Dylan does a runner. When he tells Mason that his dad got rid of the vapes, Mason orders Dylan to give him his new trainers. Will Dylan tell anyone what he's going through? 5. Nina feels neglected as Asha only has eyes for Isla. Asha tells Nina that she's meeting paramedic mentor Isla, but Nina reminds her that they're meant to be spending the day together. Hearing Asha and Amy discuss the anti-spiking demo, Nina is put out that Asha never mentioned it. Later, enjoying drinks at the Chariot Square Hotel, Asha is horrified to see Courtney and Darren Vance there, and she accuses Courtney of cheating on Audrey. Nina explains that Audrey and Courtney split weeks ago, and Asha is outraged at the secrecy. Asha later arranges for them to meet Isla for lunch, but Nina is thrown when Asha arrives dressed to the nines. Asha and Isla chat about work while a bored Audrey listens, and Nina feels sidelined. As the week continues, Asha smiles to herself when she gets a text from Isla, but what does this mean for her future with Nina? 6. Ed faces new temptation. Ed opens a letter addressed to the late Norris Cole, and finds a new credit card. Secretly pocketing the card, Ed heads to a casino in town, but will the temptation prove too much? We know that Ed is set to commit a huge mistake soon, but is this where it starts? 7. Who will save the Rovers? Corrie boss Ian McLeod has promised that the Rovers won't be closed for long. But next week, Brian Packham breaks the news to former landlady Jenny Connor that Waterfords have put the Rovers up for sale, and the property developer is hoping to buy it and turn the pub into flats. Who will stop this plan in its tracks?
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của OK Soát Spoiler. Trong video này, chúng tôi đã tiết lộ các bạn 14 tình tiết mới nhất bộ phim Extender sẽ diễn ra trong tuần tới từ ngày 10 đến ngày 13 tháng 4 năm 2023. Điều gì sẽ xảy ra ở Watford? Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở video tiếp theo.